Hey guys, this is Roaming CPA. So I wanted to make this video because I'm seeing this odd dislocation happening where the gold price on CNBC is $2,484.30 right here. But then when you go here, it's like almost like look at this. Like it's almost what we're looking at, like a $32 delta. And then if you go to TradingView right here, like here, it's like a 40 for, look at it, it's $44 delta. I just find it so, like, I mean, like, even if we do, like, let's see if we can do minute by minute. I mean, like, this thing, I don't know how they're getting their data. Like, you see here, Friday, it was 480, then it dumped, got to 412, but this data is different than the other data sets. It's like as if no one can figure out the price right now. The pricing data is not accurate. It's like all the liars can't keep their story straight because something more chaotic is happening. So I'm not sure what's happening, but I just wanted to make this observation. Another observation that's happening too is this carry trade. I'm not the one that came up with it. There's this Twitter guy. I can't, like, I wish I could name him. I want to cite him, but I don't want to, like, take some. His name is Michael A. Gayed, and he's a CFA. Okay. He's the one that came up with this. Maybe we'll call him Michael A. Gayed. Yeah, this guy, maybe. Yeah, him. He talked about the carry trade. You can look him up on Twitter and everything and then find him that way. For the sake of this conversation, we're not going to go there. But basically, the Nikkei is down 12%. I mean, this thing is straight up collapsed. So, like, I mean, it peaked in the 80s and then it's been in a bear market and then it peaked again. But now the carry trade is collapsing because it looks like the USD to Japanese currency, the currency is getting stronger, and like all these people took out debt at assuming that, like, they literally assumed they've been taking on debt at 0% interest rates from Japan and buying up our stock market. So what, like, the carry trade, the thesis of the carry trade is, you take Japanese yen denominated debt, okay? They've kept their interest rates 0 to negative for like 15 years, okay? So you take their debt and then you understand that, hey, look, they're going to keep, like, look at this, right? Like, if you bought debt at whenever the yen was at 77, like, you basically, like this thing was depreciating and the dollar would keep on getting stronger. So you would take out the debt, exchange it for dollars, and go buy up the stock market with cheap debt and keep on fueling the debt, taking debt from Japan and buying up other assets in other parts of the world. And you never had to worry about it because the Japanese never increased their interest rates. But for the first time, the Japanese increased to 25 basis points. And so many people took out debt, and 25 basis points might not seem like a lot, but when you take out astronomical amounts of debt along with a currency that's getting stronger, it's kind of scary. So you're seeing a sell-off of the Nikkei, right? And then look at the Koreans are like going poo-poo too. Okay, so like it's going to be game on. Like, I don't know if the stock market will go up or down. But this carry trade looks like it might actually have some feet. And like the whole thing is predicated on the oil, right? Like these guys are selling off dollars. The Japanese have a lot of dollars. They're selling off dollars, selling treasuries basically to shore up their currency, because they can't keep their currency this inflationary because they need to buy oil, because they're so dependent on oil. They need oil at cheaper rates for their currency, so they're shoring up their own currency. And let's see what happens, because this whole petrodollar setup where they have to swap out their yen for dollars to buy oil has to stop. And if Janet Yellen comes in and says, hey, you guys can buy oil in Japanese yen and bypass the dollar, that's like the biggest crack of the petrodollar, because you have an ally of the US and a G7 country breaking ties with the petrodollar. No one's done, not a G7 country. Other little third world countries are doing it, but like not a G7 country. So if Janet Yellen will have to step in and basically break the tie with the petrodollar for the Japanese yen. When that happens, inflation in the United States is going to rage. And I expect the middle class to just like over the next decade, I just see the middle class quality of life deteriorate by 50% to a more normal level of what the rest of the world is experiencing. I think this whole mantra of like this American exceptionalism is over, and you're going to see this situation where the Americans will have to work harder and sacrifice a lot more and be more in line with the rest of the world. I think you're going to have a situation where the quality of life of Americans will decrease by 50%, but also third world countries will come into the forefront and become second world countries, and the quality of life of other people in the world are going to be increased by 50% at the expense of the Americans, which is okay because they've enjoyed this privilege of this reserve currency status for over 100 years. Now, well, 90 technically, right? So 80 to 90, excuse me. So we're going to see what happens, but if you don't have like assets that can withstand a currency crisis, you need to reevaluate your portfolio. Because if you're in a dollar denominated, if all your assets are dollar denominated and you can't denominate your assets in other currencies, you're kind of screwed. So assets that can be denominated in other currencies. Let me give you an example. You got everything here: gold, silver, copper, platinum, and palladium. You got crypto here. Okay. You got oil. Okay. You pick. Okay. Oil's a little harder because like we can go into like the different types of oil. Like there's sweet and light and sour and heavy. So depending on what barrel of oil you got and in which refiner can you sell it to, it gets kind of challenging, right? Because not every country refines that type of oil. So it's hard, and it's very hard to transport this. Gold is a little bit easier. Crypto is pretty easy as well. So I wanted to give you a little bit of high level stuff of what's happening in the market. So tomorrow I'll come up with another video to talk about. I hope you guys have a good day. Talk to you soon. Bye.